Hello everyone, I'm Lisa, and if you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. Today I have 4 amazing Christmas DIYs. DIY number 1 is going to be an adorable Christmas camper. I seen one at Target and I thought I'm going to try to make my own out of some Dollar Tree products. To start this DIY, I have 2 of the Christmas Dollar Tree campers, and I just removed the door and the window, and I lightly sanded some of the glitter off. I wanted to make the camper more 3D, so I'm going to take some poster board, and you can see here I'm just going to start at the end of the poster board, and I'm going to roll it until I get to the other end, and this is going to give me pretty much the amount of poster board I need to make it where I can connect the 2 pieces together. And I'm going to be using this Dollar Tree sign that I had in my craft stash, and I just measured out how wide I needed my poster board to be because it's going to be as wide as the sign, and I'm going to use the sign on the bottom of the camper. Now I'm just going to give the bottom of the camper a coat of crimson chalk paint by Waverly. And next I'm going to take a metallic silver chalk paint by Folk Art, and I'm going to give the top of the camper 2 coats. Now I'm going to work on a door and a window that looks a little more realistic. I took 2 of the Dollar Tree planks and I'm cutting the door to 5 inches, and then I'm going to cut the window to 3.5 inches by 2.25 inches. And I just made these cuts with my miter box and my miter saw. And I did use my sander to sand off any rough edges. Next, I'm going to use some wood skewers to frame out my window. And you can see here, I'm just cutting them to length to completely frame the outside edge. Then I decided to put panes in the window, so I cut 1 more short piece and another long piece. And as I go on here, you'll be able to see that I put the short piece in the middle, and then I took the longer piece and I measured it out and I cut it to length for each side. And then once I got all my pieces cut, I just hot glued them all into place. Next, I'm going to give my window a coat of the metallic silver chalk paint. Now I'm going to work on the door. I have a large popsicle stick and I'm just going to cut 3/4 inch pieces. There's going to be 3 of them, and that's going to be the windows in my door. Now I'm just going to give the door a couple coats of the metallic silver chalk paint. Then I'm going to go in with the black paint marker and I'm going to give the 3 little squares 1 coat. Now I'm going to go back and work on the door, and I'm just going to distress the door a little bit with some white chalk paint. And then I'm going to take the silver paint. I'm just going to lightly go around the edges of the windows just to make it look like they have a frame. And once the windows are dry, I'm just going to hot glue them into place. Earlier when I cut the small window piece to 2.25 inches, there was a little bit left, and it was probably 3/4 inch wide. And I'm just going to take that little piece and I'm just going to paint it with silver paint, and I'm going to hot glue that over the door just to make it look like a little overhang. Now I'm going to work on the top part of the camper. I wanted it to have a more galvanized metal look, so I'm going to go in with some of this tube mesh and I'm going to completely cover the top part of the camper. Once I get it completely covered, I'm going to go in with my scissors and I'm going to trim off any extra pieces hanging off the edge. And then I'm going to go in with more of the tube mesh and just completely cover the whole outside edge to make it look more finished. And once I got it completely trimmed out with the tube mesh, I'm going to go back in with the metallic silver chalk paint, and I'm just going to give it a coat. I'm only going to do one coat, and I'm going to do it very light. I just kind of wanted to get rid of some of that sparkly, shiny, and make it look more galvanized. Now I'm going to work on attaching the door and the window. With the mesh being at the top, it made it raise up a little bit compared to the bottom part. So I just took a popsicle stick, cut it to length, and glued it to the back of the door, and this made it set a little more even, and I just hot glued that into place. And with the window being up higher and just on the mesh, I just hot glued that into place. Now I'm going to work on attaching the front to the back, and I'm just going to use my little sign here. I'm going to take some Jenga blocks, and you can see I'm just going to glue 3 along the bottom. I'm going to make sure that they're lined up on the edge, and then I'm going to line it up on the back part of the camper, and I'm just going to hot glue that into place. And to attach the front, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hot glue 3 Jenga blocks to the edge of the little sign, and then I'm going to line it up, and then I'm just going to hot glue the front into place. Once you get that glued together, you'll see that the whole inside is open. So now we're going to work on the top part, the roof of the camper, so we can enclose that whole area in. And we're just going to take the piece of poster board that we measured and cut out earlier, and we're going to take popsicle sticks. I got the wider ones, and we're just going to cut them to length, and we're just going to completely cover that whole piece of poster board. And now that we have all the popsicle sticks glued to the poster board, we're just going to hot glue the top of the camper into place. And now I'm just going to give the whole top part a coat of metallic silver chalk paint. Now I'm just going to work on some embellishments. I made a little wreath out of a evergreen pipe cleaner and some pitberry, and I just twisted it together, and then I just hot glued it to the door. Now I'm going to work on the steps for the camper. You can see here I'm just going to use some Jenga blocks, and I glued 4 together and then 2, and then I just glued the 2 to the 4, and then I took 1 and glued it to the bottom there, and it just formed some steps. And once I got the steps all glued together, I just hot glued them to the bottom of the camper in front of the door. Now I'm just going to add some Christmas lights to the top of the camper. I just hot glued some green and white twine around the top edge, and then I hot glued these little Christmas light embellishments to the green and white twine. And to finish this little camper up, I just took some tacky glue. I put it on the top of the camper and on the steps and on top of the door and on the windows. And then I just took some faux snow and sprinkled it on. And I just made sure that the tacky glue was completely covered. And here is how the little camper turned out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. DIY number 2 is a Christmas tree truck sign. I'm going to start this DIY by painting this believe sign with black chalk paint. Next, I'm going to take one of these wood panel signs from Dollar Tree that was in the craft section, and I'm going to give the front and back a coat of walnut wood tint. And once I get it completely covered, I'm just going to take a paper towel and wipe away any extra wood tint. Next, I'm going to take 2 of these Crafter Squares MDF truck shaped wall plaques, and I'm going to give both of them 1 coat of Crimson Chalk Paint by Waverly. Now I'm going to work on the truck. I'm going to take 12 Jenga blocks. I'm going to glue 2 together at a time. And then I'm going to take those 6 pieces, and you can see here I'm going to lay them out to where I want them. I'm going to hot glue them into place. Then once I get them all glued into place, I'm going to take the other truck and I'm going to hot glue that on top. This is going to give it a 3D look, and I'm going to be able to put Christmas trees in the back of the bed. Now I'm just going to hot glue some of these Christmas trees that I got from Dollar Tree in the back of the truck. And I'm also going to go in with some black chalk paint, and I'm just going to go over the wheels to make them look a little more defined. And then I'm just going to line up my believe sign, and I'm going to hot glue it to the top, and then I'm going to hot glue the little truck into place. Now I'm just going to take some square dowel rod, and I'm going to cut it to length, and I'm going to stain it with some black chalk paint mixed with water. I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to glue a piece to the top and the bottom just to make it look a little more finished. I just wanted to set this on one of my shelves, so I didn't add a hanger, but you definitely could if you would like to. This one was so simple, but I think it turned out so pretty. I love the little trees in the back of the truck. Let me know what you think in the comments below. DIY number 3 is a wood tree trio. To start this DIY, I have 3 different sizes of wood shims, and I bought these at Menards. And here is how long each shim is. The smaller is about 8 inches, the medium almost 12, and then the longest is about 15 inches. I just used 10 of each size of the shims, and I just gave all of them 1 coat of walnut wood tint, and I wiped them all down with a paper towel. And to make the bottom of the trees, I took 6 of the small paint sticks, and I'm just going to cut those down to 8 inches. And I just gave them one coat of the walnut wood tint and wiped them down with a paper towel. Now I'm going to take the 6 paint sticks, I'm going to put them in groups of 2. I'm going to take 2 Jenga blocks and I'm going to glue them to the bottom of 2 paint sticks, and this is going to be the base of the tree. And I'm going to do that with all 3 sets. On the thin end of these shims, they're not very even. So I'm just going to measure about 1 inch down and I'm just going to cut that off. I wanted to measure because they're not all completely the same size. So to make sure I got them even, I just measured the first one and then I cut the rest of them to length based on that. And when I was ready to glue these together, you're going to be gluing 5 together for each side. I measured from the bottom up, the thick part up, and I measured 2 inches and I made a line on each one of the shims so I would know where to glue so both sides would be even. And once I have 5 glued together for each side, I'm going to glue the thick part, the bottom part, to the base. Once that sets up, I'm going to pull together the top to form the tree and I'm going to hot glue the tip together. And I just went through the same process for all 3 trees. Now I'm going to work on the embellishments for the trees. I found these little mini houses at Walmart. There was 3 of them for $2.48. I had these little wood snowflakes, and then I had these wood stars and some of the little white mini Christmas trees from Dollar Tree. And I just hot glued the house in the center, and then I put a large and small tree on each side of the house and I just glued them into place. Now I'm going to work on the snowflakes. These are little wood snowflakes. I didn't stain them or paint them or anything. I like them, the natural color of the wood. And I'm just going to take hot glue and put it on 2 of the tips, and I'm just going to hold it to the inside of the shim until it's set. I'm going to put 1 at the top, 1 in the middle, and 1 at the bottom. Once those all set, I'm going to finish this DIY up by adding these little wood stars to the top of the tree. And I added the same embellishments to all 3 trees. And here is how they turned out. I think they turned out so pretty. Let me know what you think in the comments below. DIY number 4 is busted canvases on a tray. For this DIY, I'm going to be using some of these mini gift boxes, some mini canvas panels, and some mini framed canvases. I just picked out 3 pictures from the gift boxes. I'm going to use the Santa Claus, the snowman, and then I'm going to also use this Merry Christmas wreath. I'm just going to break down the boxes until they lay flat. I'm going to take the canvas panel and I'm just going to trace around the picture to the size I want, and I'm going to cut all 3 of them out. The cardboard that the gift boxes are made out of is a little thick. So I'm going to take some duct tape, I'm going to put it to the back of the pictures, I'm going to smooth it out, and when you pull it off, it's going to take a couple layers of that extra paper off, and it's going to make your pictures thinner, so when you Mod Podge them or glue them to the canvas, they're going to stick a little better and look a little smoother. Next, I'm going to work on the canvas panels, and I'm just going to take this green chalk paint in the color Fern, and I'm just going to paint the outside edges. And I'm going to do the same process for the framed canvases in the same color, Fern by Waverly. Now I'm just going to take some tacky glue. I'm going to put some on the canvas panels. I'm going to brush it out with a paintbrush and make it really smooth, and then I'm just going to put my pictures on top of the canvas. Now I'm just going to cut my scrapbooking paper to size. I'm going to use the plaid for the back of the canvas and this white for the front of the canvas. I'm going to cut the white scrapbooking paper with my peeking shears. I'm going to do all 4 sides, and I'm going to do it for all the canvases. And I'm just going to go in with the tacky glue again. I'm going to paint it on with a paintbrush and get it completely smooth, and then I'm just going to apply the white scrapbooking paper to all 3 canvases. Now I'm going to use glue sticks, and I'm going to apply the plaid paper to the back of the canvases. And once my glue is dry on the front and the back of the canvas, I'm going to take my X-Acto knife, and you can see here I'm just going to cut kind of straight lines all the way around the back side of the canvas. It's going to kind of end up being in a star shape when I get done. And to finish cutting it to the edge of the frame, I'm just going to use these small scissors. This helped a lot and made the cuts a little cleaner. Next, I'm going to take each cut piece, I'm going to roll it backwards, and I'm going to take the tip and I'm going to hot glue it to the front of the canvas. And here is what it looks like once I get all the cut pieces glued back to the canvas. And I just went through the same process with all 3 canvases. Now I'm going to work on the wood tray. I'm just going to take 2 of the wood planks from Dollar Tree, and I have some of this square dowel rod, and that's going to be the sides of my tray. I'm going to be putting my 2 wood planks end to end, and then here you can just see I'm just measuring out all my wood dowel, and I'm just going to cut it to length. Once I get everything cut to length, I am going to go in with some watered down black chalk paint, and I'm going to make a black stain, and I'm just going to coat all my wood pieces, and I'm just going to wipe off any excess stain with a paper towel. Now that my wood pieces are dry, I'm just going to hot glue the ends of my wood planks together, and then I'm just going to hot glue my wood dowel rods that I measured and cut earlier into place. Next, I'm just going to glue my canvas panels to my busted canvases with hot glue. And now I'm just going to take some hot glue to the sides, the back, and the bottom, and I'm going to hot glue them to my little wood tray. I'm going to do the end pieces first, and then I'm going to do the last one in the center so I can make sure that they're all straight. Now I'm going to add some embellishments to the tray. I have some of these little green picks and some red berries, and I'm just going to hot glue them in front of the busted canvases. Now I'm going to go in with some of the white puffy paint, and I'm just going to go on the edges of the busted canvas, and then I'm going to be sprinkling it with some snowy glitter. I'm going to go back in with some more of the puffy paint. I'm going to add it to the top of the canvases, to the berries, and the front of the tray. While it's still wet, I'm just going to add some of the faux snow from Dollar Tree. Then I decided I wanted it to look like there was snow down in the canvas. So I took some of the tacky glue, I squeezed it down into the bottom of the canvas, and now I'm going to take this little tool and I'm just going to kind of smear it down in there. And I'm going to add some more of this Dollar Tree faux snow. I'm going to shake the excess off, and then I end up going back in and doing it right on the edge of the busted part of the canvas, just so it looks like the snow's kind of coming out of the canvas. And I just did the same thing. I added the faux snow from Dollar Tree to the tacky glue. And here is how they turned out. The little canvases were a little more challenging as far as doing the busted canvas, but I think they turned out so pretty. And if you made it this far in the video, leave me a Christmas tree emoji in the comments below. And once again, I want to thank everyone for watching. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. It really does help my channel grow. And I'll see you on the next one.